Hey everybody, it's that football time. Let's get litty and get them picks out right after this. Welcome back, you lovely mofos. It's time to get them picks ready. But before I do, we got our ass kicked last week in Yahoo. Unfortunately, we did put up a lot of points, but that team did fucking go off against us, so unfortunately we took the L. We are tied for third, unfortunately, but we are going to be making a lot of moves this week and putting some good defenses into play and a new tight end, and hopefully we're going to take the W that we need. Last week was a crazy week in fantasy football, man. There's some new players showing up. There were some really huge numbers put out there, but we're going to really talk about this week and really getting those guys in the lineup that we think are going to do big numbers. But before we do, you know what needs to happen first. We need to get our faces correct. Cheers, fam. And you know how we start these. We go with the quarterback first, obviously. And first things first, Kyler Murray. Now, he had a decent game last week. It wasn't good to start, but it finished really high. I think we're gonna see something similar this week. He has Tampa Bay, the worst pass defense in the league. They can't stop anybody. So for a nice solid floor of 20 points, I really expect him to have a nice game. We know there's a lot of other quarterbacks that have good matchups this week, like a Drew Brees, who I'm really high on this week, and that's why we are going to have one of his wide receivers in our lineup. But I think sliding Kyler Murray into your lineup to save only $200 between him and Brees, it's a swap up, so either or I'm fine with this week, but really go with Kyler Murray for that high ceiling against Tampa Bay. Now, running backs this week, and that was last week's real crazy shit that happened. We talked about McCaffrey, he blew up, Cook did not, and a lot of young rookie running backs really started to make a name for themselves. And this week we have two of them in our lineup, and we're gonna start off with Devin Singletary. We have been waiting for the blow up for Devin Singletary, and it happened. He had a huge game last week. He was only 4 yards short of 100, and I think they see that this rookie is part of the future of their team, that they're going to need to pound with him and supplement the time with Gore, but really Singletary is the number one there. Expect another big game from him this week. He's up against Cleveland this week. They really aren't great against the run. They're 27th, so I really think that he's going to have a decent day with another solid floor with a potentially high ceiling. And at $5,000 for a running back, that's really huge. Get him into your lineup. I really like his potential this week. Next, we've been seeing it week in and week out. It's David Montgomery, and I think they finally found the right way to use him. He is nasty. This kid is a solid rookie. Get him in. He's gonna put up another 10 to 15, if not 30, if he blows up for another 2 touchdowns, which could happen at any moment. So I expect another nice day for David Montgomery. Get him into your lineup. David Montgomery is worth it this week, especially pairing him with Singletary. You're only spending 10 grand on your top 2 running backs. That leaves you a lot of room for your wide receivers that we're gonna go really heavy on this week. But before I do, we got one more running back to talk to you about, and we're gonna throw him in the flex this week, and that is Derrick Henry. He's got KC. Look, KC can't really stop anybody on defense, and I really expect that they're gonna wanna keep Mahomes off the field if he's playing, and the only way to do so is Derrick Henry. You give that guy 20, 25 touches, he will lead you to victory. He's solid AF. I have him in my yearlies. He does what you need him to do, and I really expect you're gonna see a nice big day from him. Give him 25 touches, 100 and a touch. Now, before we get to them wide receivers, folks, bake with me, shall you? Oh, so fresh. Now to those wide receivers, and first up, we have to talk about the guy we're gonna spend money on, and this is Michael Thomas. We're gonna spend heavy on him this week, because Michael Thomas, week in and week out, is putting up at least 10 catches. He is well ahead of Marvin Harrison's record for most catches in a year, and I really expect him to continue that trend, especially now that Drew Brees is back in the lineup. He is the apple of his eye. You know he's gonna catch another 10 to 12 balls. So really spend the money on him for that really solid ceiling of 25 to 35 points that you're gonna get out of him. Not only that, it's a division matchup and it's Atlanta. There's gonna be floodgates that are gonna open. Expect a huge day from Michael Thomas and really a lot of the guys on that Saints offense. Next, we're gonna talk about one of the most consistent wide receivers in fantasy over the last 5 weeks. DeVante Parker. I dropped him in one of my yearlies. It was a mistake, but I kept him in another one because I've been watching him just put up 10 to 15 points every week. Now that everybody is gone there and Ryan Fitzpatrick is throwing the ball to everybody, he's the main wide receiver that is left now that everybody is injured. So expect him to catch at least 6 balls for 50 yards and possibly a touch, which is a small 11 to 15 point day, but if they're gonna try to win games now, they're gonna need to throw the ball to Parker and expect him to have a solid week. Next up, He's one of the most talked about wide receivers in Indianapolis right now, and that is Zach Pascal. Yes, we saw Briskets and Gravy go down last week, but Brian Hoyer chucks the ball, and that's really important in an offense that needs to throw the ball to win games. You can rely on Marlon Mack only a little bit, but at the end of the day, you gotta get down the field, and Zach Pascal is one of those guys that has great hands, great footwork, and really, he's gonna get you some points. So Zach Pascal now is your consistent wide receiver in Indy that might give you 15 points. So at a cheap price this week, slide him into your lineup. That way you can have Michael Thomas and you have DeVante Parker. And then we're gonna talk about this nice tight end that is one of the most solid motherfuckers in the year this year too. But before that happens, bong calls. Let's start off with the tight end before we talk defense, and that's going to be the number 2, 3 tight end this year. I'm not really too sure, but it is Austin Hooper. He's back. He's got another big game, and we're going against New Orleans. Like I just said, a division rival. Expect another huge day for him. They have to throw the ball. They got rid of Sanu. There is another guy, Gage, there. He potentially could take targets away, but really, Austin Hooper has been one of the most solid tight ends this year in a year that tight ends have been rough. Throw him in your lineup at $5,500. 10 to 20 points. I like that to not have to worry about my tight end and throw a dart at the wall. And finally, the defense. And this week we are going to go right at the Jets and we're going to play the Giants against them. It's New York versus New York. It's going to be a smash mouth football game. And the Jets have been one of the biggest disasters all year. Sam Darnold is really disappointing me as a Jets fan. Yes, I know I suck at life, but the Giants, man, that defense showed up against Dallas, who is a very good offense. And I think when they play a bad offense like the Jets in a game they want to show up at home, it's going to be a shit show for the Jets. So I expect a nice day out of the Giants, and spending cheap on a defense this week will really round out this nice lineup. So now we add the Giants to the bottom, and we have this lovely, lovely lineup here that I really think, again, could do very well in tournament play. Now, I had a bunch of other lineups last week. I did not post, but I did send to some of you guys out there. You did win money on them. Yes, congrats. So let's keep the conversation going. DM me, message me, however you want. Also, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you are still here right now. But before we get out of here, we are gonna take a nice cold start dab out of our Halloween MJ Arsenal piece. And this thing, dude, I fucking love it. I surprised Hazy Hula with this. Yes, she lost her shit, and it's quickly become one of my favorite little pieces to smoke out of, especially for cold starts. Throw that fat chunker in there, and here we go, folks. I want to thank you guys again for hanging out with me, enjoying the football Sundays, taking your time and doing what you do for the community. I can't tell you how much you guys all mean that you are here, you're doing what you do, and you are making a positive voice for the community and yourselves and everybody else out there. Now that being said, we are gonna get out of here. I hope you guys stay beautiful, stay funny, and most importantly, stay lit.